Good evening, everyone. Welcome, team. We are a little light tonight because some people are traveling and there's another call, but we are going to record this for everyone that's missing it. Good to see you, Raquel. Good to see you, Myra. Thank you for turning your cameras on. Really, really appreciate that. We're going to talk about a topic that a lot of people ask questions about, and that's getting stuck. Um, and that's not just in this business, you guys. People get stuck in all businesses. I got stuck in my insurance business. People get stuck in real estate. People get stuck in car business. We just get stuck. And what I want to talk about is a bold truth about being stuck, and that is you're not stuck. What we are is we're early. We're early to the game because this is a new thing. This is a new device. It's a new technology, and we're on the precipice of, prevention in medicine where people are waking up, and now we actually have a device that can help people. So there's a huge difference in being stuck and being early. And also, when I say you're early, you don't have that much experience. Like, I mean, of everyone on this call, I've been here the longest. And I've been here a year, and a year is not a long time. It's a very, very short period of time to be maybe in a new business with a different device, with different technology, with different vocabulary. So it's very, very different. So what I want to talk about that, why I want to talk about that tonight is because I feel like a lot of people ask questions and even on some of our Q&A on our onboarding, people that keep joining that call, they're just like, it's just not going like I planned. And I ask people how long they've been in the business, and they're like 2 months. And I'm like, I mean, nobody really learns how to do anything in 2 months, right? It takes a long time to think about it. We go to elementary, middle school, and high school for 12 years. And then we go to college for another four. And if you're a doctor, you might go to school for another eight to learn your craft. And so a year is not a long time. And most people in this business confuse being early with being unsuccessful because they measure their results based on other people's results or how fast someone else started. And you can't measure your success up against anybody else's. You have to measure your success against what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. And then what happens is you start to spiral and you guys start telling your stories, start telling yourself stories like, I've run out of people to talk to, or this just isn't working, or this doesn't work. And it's funny, I had a guy in the gym and his name was Alex, and he was really, really excited about this business. And when he came into the business, he was just full of vigor, full of energy. And about 3 months in, I saw him in the gym. I was like, "Hey, how's business going?" And he was like, "Man, I've run out of people to talk to." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, there's like 10 million people in Florida. Like, how did you run out of people to talk to?" I looked around the gym, and it was a busy morning, and I was like, "There's at least 300 people in this gym. Like, if you talk to every single person in this gym?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Well, then what do you mean you ran out of people?" He's like, "Well, I ran out of people that I know." And so right about that time, this gentleman comes up and says, "Hey, Alex." He's like, "Hey, good morning." And I was like, "I'm curious. Did you talk to him about it?" "No, no, I haven't." I was like, "Well, go talk to him." So he comes over to me and he says, "Hey, man, you got any patches?" He's interested in the patch. And I was like, "I thought you ran out of people to talk to." And so these are just stories that we tell ourselves in our head because it's easy to say that. It's easy to say that this business doesn't work. And I'm telling you, that's not it. What's really happening is you're still in the part of the process where you're growing roots. And that's what people have to realize about a business when you're an entrepreneur is there's a lot of time that has to be spent on growing roots, even on your personal development, learning the business, growing the roots of stability and discipline and being consistent. So you're growing roots right now, not fruits. It takes some time for those fruits to come to fruition. And the work you're doing right now might not feel like it's producing results, but it is. You just can't see them exactly yet. And that's what I want you guys to know. Like all of these thoughts and all these things we have in our head, the reason I'm telling you guys these things is because it's all mindset, it's all mentality. And our mind could play tricks on us. Our mind could push us in directions that aren't the right direction. So tonight, I don't want to make this some fluffy motivational talk for you guys. I didn't come here, to make you guys feel good. That's not the premise of this. I want to get you guys moving. I want to get you in the right direction. Because the truth is, if you feel stuck in the business, the most dangerous thing you can do is focus on that or stop. So let's reframe the timeline because most of you guys have been in this business less than a year, some less than a month, some less than 3 months. And most of us put pressure on the process instead of putting time into the process. And when people tell me that, they're not doing well, I ask them how many people are they talking to every single day intentionally? Not, let me DM somebody on social media, let me do a social media post, and let me hopefully someone's going to reach out to me. What vehicles are you using to talk to people about this business? Like, I'm proud to talk to every single person I come in contact with this business because what it's done for me, what it's done for people that I know, it's an easy conversation. And I want to give you some of those tools tonight. If you've been on my onboarding, it's going to be some of the same tools, but practice, reiteration, hearing it over and over and over again. Sometimes people will just click when they hear it. And maybe just try one of the things that I'm going to teach you tonight. But what I would tell you is you did not give this business enough time. If you're having those thoughts, you haven't given this business enough time. You've given it unrealistic expectations. You treated it like a microwave when it's really a crock pot. Like it takes 8 hours to cook something where you could cook something in the microwave in 30 seconds. We've become this society of this immediate results. We want to do this and get this. And if we don't, then we failed. And that's because technology has sped everything up. It's because we have a computer in the palm of our hands. We can order groceries to our house and they're there in 30 minutes. We can order food from a restaurant, it's there in 45 minutes. We can order on Amazon, it's there the next day. So that's what we're used to in everything in life. And we got to kind of back up when we're building a business and understand what it actually takes to build that business. Now, what I tell people in this business, you got to give it 3 to 4 years minimum. You cannot evaluate if it works or if I'm going to build a business in 6 months. Like most businesses take 5 years to become profitable, not in this industry. Your first year, you're just kind of getting your training wheels off and figuring out how do I talk to people and how to talk about this device and how I can make sure that I'm leading a team. And there's a lot of aspects to this business. But along the way, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot about yourself and you're going to have a lot of personal growth. 3 to 4 years minimum. That's the truth, you guys. Any business worth building takes that long just to get your foundation right. It takes time. When I started, I was the most uncomfortable person talking about this business. This is an unfamiliar business to me. I've been in insurance, I've been in financial services, I've been in real estate, I've been in coaching, I've been in a lot of different businesses, fashion, clothing, but never health and wellness. It's something I've been fascinated and I've studied and I've researched. Stem cells, I mean, so much so that when both my daughters were born, my doctor asked me if we wanted to keep the umbilical cord and the placenta for stem cells. And I was like, how many people do that? And they were like, not many. I was like, nah, forget about it. Then I read Tony Robbins' book, Life Force, 3 months after Sky was born, and he's talking about stem cells and how amazing they are. And I'm like, my freaking doctor, like, we threw away our stem cells, and that could help my kids in the future, it could help us in the future. So I was really uncomfortable talking about this business, but I went all in. I stumbled along the way. I sounded awkward when I got on the calls. I messed up things. People would ask me questions. I didn't know the answer. I hate not having the answers. I got super nervous when that happened. But what I did is I committed to stay in it. I gave myself permission to be bad long enough to get great. And that's tough to do because we have these egos that we don't want to look bad. We want to know everything. But that's the move that you have to make because mastery is reserved for those who are willing to endure a lot of messiness in the middle. It's going to be messy. You learn how to ski, it's going to be messy. You learn how to play golf, it's going to be messy. You learn how to cook, it's going to be messy. It's always going to be messy. And you got to go into this knowing that. So, one of the keys to this business, you guys, is follow up. And you guys have heard, everyone say that fortune is in the follow up. And it's a really true statement. But what people don't tell you is that follow up is where most people quit. This is where most people fail is in the follow up. You got to understand, people aren't rejecting you. They're not rejecting you. They're just not ready yet. They're not at a point in their life where they're ready to hear what you're saying. Because people move at their own speed. But we somehow, some way take that personal. It's crazy. Everyone does it. But we have to follow up with people because maybe 3 or 4% of people are going to be open to hear what you say in the moment. But for some reason, we take that as a personal attack against us. So I don't chase people, you guys. That's not what I do. I don't stalk people. I just check in with them. I don't check in with them about the patches. I check in with them about them. So if I've talked to you about the patches and I've already laid that story, when I follow up with you, I'm just going to call you and I'm just going to see how life is. I'm going to make notes in my phone on that conversation because I'm going to put a calendar event in 30, 60, or 90 days when I'm going to call you back. But everything that we talked about, if it was your kids, if it was your job, if it was whatever, I'm going to have that on my calendar on the date that I call you. Because when I hang up, I'm going to put a calendar request on my phone. Matter of fact, I can just speak into the phone and say, Siri, put on my calendar 45 days from now to follow up with Mary Sue and put on that. Whoops. Sorry, I held the wrong button down. Put on my calendar to follow up with Mary Sue and remember to talk about her kids and the vacation, the Disney cruise that she went on. And now it's adding it to my calendar. And when I follow up with her, I'm going to call her and I'm not going to talk about the patch. I'm going to talk about her Disney cruise. I'm going to talk about her job again. Hey, has anything changed? Because I'm always going to ask the same two questions. I'm going to talk about it later. What do you love and what would you change? I'm going to write those notes down. I'm going to say, hey, you still loving this? Were you able to change that at your job? And that's how I'm going to follow up with people. Very, very simple. I'm going to check in with them. How are they doing? And then more than likely, based on our last conversation, they're going to ask me, how's that stem cell thing going? And that's when you're going to be like, oh my God, it's the best decision I ever made. It's helped me so much. It's helping so many people. You're going to get into your pitch, but you are not bringing it up. Let them bring it up. If they don't bring it up, then follow up another 60 or 90 days. Because I don't want people to think every time I'm calling them, there's going to be about that. So no pressure, just presence. Just stay in front of them so that they know who you are. Also, go back to all your no's from 30, 60, 90 days ago. Those are people who had time to think about what you talked to them about, time to watch you, time to reconsider. But don't follow up being weird about it. Just be real, be relational, and make the conversation about them. So, again, I want you guys to have this understanding. I want you to get this straight. You did not run out of people. What you're running out of is courage. You've barely scratched the surface, I promise. You guys are walking around with a gold mine, a lottery ticket, whatever you want to say, but you're afraid to tell people about it. And that's crazy. Why? And I'm going to tell you why. Let me be completely honest with you. Because you think someone's going to judge you. Or worse, you've already decided for them that they're not interested. You've already decided they're not interested. You're not psychic. So until they tell you don't ever call them again, or I'm not interested in doing this, don't make that decision. That's not your job. Your job is to plant seeds. Your job is to share. Your job is not to sell. Your job is to share. Your job is to plant seeds. The more seeds you plant, the more opportunity that's going to be created. So, how do you get into these conversations with people? That's, I think, the biggest struggle point. And I talk about this every Monday. The hardest thing is just actually getting the conversation. I just had a meeting today for another business that I'm involved in. And she was like, I don't even know how to start a conversation to start talking about this. And it doesn't matter what you're talking about. It doesn't matter. This works for everything. This is a conversation piece that I want you guys to practice. I really want you to consider this. Next week, we're going to role play. All the stuff that I'm talking about this week and these conversations, follow up, getting into a conversation, talking about the business, we're going to role play next week because I want to help you guys have the tools. I want you to do it with me and I want to hear you do it. So this week, after you watch this call, we have, I want you guys to spend some time, practice with your husband, your kids, whatever. Just start practicing this so that your conversations get more comfortable for you. So the hardest part is starting those conversations consistently. So before I start that, I want to talk to you guys about what not to do in that conversation. And that is don't lead with throwing up on them with all the great things that this patches do or how amazing this business opportunity is. Don't do that. That's not how you get in a conversation with someone because they're going to feel like they're being sold right out the door. Don't talk about it to network marketing or direct sales company. Don't talk about that right away. If someone asks, I'm honest with people. It's a direct sales compensation model. Yes. It's an affiliate program. You get paid for sharing, and if other people come into business, they get paid. It's not a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are illegal in the United States of America. The FTC, the SEC regulates that. It doesn't exist that way. Matter of fact, people that are on my team make more money than me. And also don't talk about the comp plan or how much money they can make in the first part of the conversation, because when you do that, it's like you're throwing up on people. And you don't want to throw up on people because then they just shut off. The way that you get into a conversation with people is leaving people with themselves. And how you do that is just ask a lot of questions and create a conversation because when you ask a question, there's a response that's going to create another question, that's going to create another question, that's going to create another question. And you just keep firing those questions to people to get to know them. And before you know it, they like and trust you. And they don't even really know why, but the reason why is because you have talked about something that is within their identity and is about them. And that's why I always get in the conversation. The first question I always ask people, always, no matter what, is what do you do for a living? Because it's what people identify themselves with. If you're a professional basketball, football player, if you work at the airport, if you work in a factory, if you're a real estate agent, if you're a mortgage broker, if you're a CPA, an attorney, this is what people spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day doing. If you're a stay-at-home mom, that is a job. That is a hard job. But I'm going to get into conversation with people and I'm going to ask them how long they've been doing it. Tell me what you love about it. Oh, man. I mean, just think about this question. Someone said, tell me about what you love about your job. Think about your job right now. What would your response be? Your honest response. What would your honest response be if I ask you right now, Raquel, tell me one thing you love about your job, not LifeWave, the other job that you have. Tell me one thing you love about it.
Helping others.
Helping others. How do you help others? Like, what's your job do?
I help them with their immigration case or taxes.
Okay, awesome. So you get a lot of fulfillment. Well, if there was one thing that you could change about that, Raquel, what would it be?
Time freedom.
Time
I'm
freedom.
very
Like
tied
what
into
kind of
that.
time freedom? Like how much do you have to work or like what kind of time would you like to have?
Well, this is a kind of job that I have to physically be there in order to see my clients, take care of them, get paid, bring money in. I have to physically be there. So that means I miss things with the kids, less time to be present with them.
So you're
So,
on someone else's clock, basically.
hmm
I understand that. Yeah,
hmm
I used to be like that, and I know one of the things I appreciate about what I do now is no one is waiting for me to show up anywhere, and that's a massive thing. Carolina, tell me one thing you love about your job. Sorry to catch you off guard. Tell me
No,
one thing
it's
you love
okay.
about your job. But you know what? This is
My
the thing. You guys don't have to be, it doesn't have to be positive because I'm going to tell you 9 times out of 10, it's not. 9 times out of 10, people are like, I don't love anything about my job. So just because we're on this call, don't keep it positive. I just want you guys to hear me ask these questions. Tell me one thing you love about your job.
well, it's the
And you
opposite.
can speak Spanish. I forgot to tell you, speak Spanish. I have translation if you're more comfortable. Sorry.
Me gusta que
I
puedo
like
controlar mi
that
horario.
I can
Es mi
control
propio
my
negocio.
time. It's my own
Yo soy dueña
business.
de mi propio negocio.
So I'm owner of my own business.
pero
Awesome.
lo
Love
malo,
that.
But
lo malo es
the
que
bad
hay mucha
part
competencia
is
en
that
mi
there's a lot of
negocio
competition in my business,
y me cuesta
and
trabajo
it's
mantener
hard
inventario,
for me to have
me
maintain an
cuesta crear
inventory
cosas nuevas.
and to bring
Ya
new
tengo
products. And
competidores que son
I
mucho más
have
grandes que hacen
competitors
lo
that are
mismo que
much
yo
bigger
y
than
hacen
me
con
that
más
do the same thing
recursos
that I do
y
and
me
have more
cuesta
resources.
trabajo
And
tener,
it's difficult
los
for
clientes siempre
me
me están pidiendo cosas
to
nuevas
be
y yo
up
no
to date.
puedo
Customers ask
estar
for new
comprando todos
things,
los meses
and I can't
inventario
be
de
buying
cosas nuevas.
everything
Entonces
to
eso me
have
frustra mucho
updated products. So that
porque
frustrates me a
quisiera
lot
dar más para
because I
ofrecer
would like to
y
have
no puedo,
more offer,
porque
and I
no puedo
can't
llenar yo
because
trabajo desde casa, no puedo
I work
llenar
from
mi
home and I
garaje
can't
para cosas
fill
que no
my
sé si voy a
garage
vender
full of
porque
stock
no
that I don't know
cuadran
if
las
I'll
cosas
sell
yendo. Entonces
because a few of
los
them are
clientes
asking for it. So that frustrates me a
no
lot
pueden
to not
comprar
be
mercancía
able
para traer
to
cosas nuevas a mi
buy
negocio.
stock to have updated products.
Carolina, tell me one thing you would change about your business.
Um, I don't know. Right now, I don't know. No sé.
Competition?
La competencia, sí.
The
Pero
competition,
Okay.
yes, but
al mismo
um,
tiempo es
at the same
competencia
time, it's competition
por el producto. Pero
because
yo sé que
for
mi
the
servicio
product.
es
But I know that my
superior
service is
porque
superior
como yo atiendo a
because
mis clientes.
since I'm
Algunos
personally
son muy grandes
assisting
y
my
no tratan
customers,
bien a los
some of them are
clientes
so big that they don't
y
really
hay
treat
unas
their
personas
customers
quisieran
with such
comprarme a
good
mí,
service.
pero como
And
yo
some
no
people would
tengo
like
los
to purchase from
productos,
me, but since I
van
don't
a los
have
que
those
sí los
products,
tienen,
they go to
aunque
my
no les
bigger
guste
competitors,
su
even though they're
modelo
not treated
de
like
pago.
I
Pero es
treat
que
them.
yo no les puedo resolver
But
su problema
I
porque
can't solve their problem
no
because
puedo tener
I
no
can't
puedo comprar en advance
purchase in
mercancía que no sé
advance
si voy a vender.
merchandise that I don't know if
Entonces
I'll sell.
es
So
triste que sé que otros
it's
negocios, otras
sad that
personas tienen más
another
negocio que yo,
business
aunque no son
has
tan
more
buenos cuidando a sus
business
clientes,
than
pero
me, even
tienen
though they don't
el
take care of their
producto.
customers,
Entonces
but
eso
they
me
have the
frustra a mí
product.
muchísimo,
So that
muchísimo,
frustrates me
muchísimo,
very, very much.
muchísimo.
Very much.
So the reason I did that, you guys, did you guys hear a lot of stuff from Raquel and from Carolina? I heard frustration from Carolina in her business. I heard, she really likes what she does, but she wishes she could change some things. So she's got a lot of competitors in her space. So whenever I get that information from people, that's information that's in the back of my brain that I'm going to use later on in the conversation, right? So the way I'm going to use it later in the conversation is when I'm trying to close her. I'm going to say to her, the cool thing about Carolina about LifeWave is we don't have any competition. The other cool thing about LifeWave is we don't have any inventory. We don't have to distribute. We don't have to send anything out. We use this product and we just talk about it and we actually have a company that sends it out for us and they don't charge us. And I don't have competition. We have a patent. No one else has that. There's no competition space and I'm the only person that they can get it from. Right. So I'm going to tweak my conversation around what Carolina's frustrations are. Then Raquel, she loves helping people. You know what the coolest thing about this patch is, Raquel? It's helping so many people. You're going to love this because the way you're going to be able to do with people's health and wellness, like you think you're helping people, helping them with their citizenship, you're going to help people live longer lives. Like how cool is that? And then time, you could get to a point where you could probably go start your own business helping people with their immigration. And you can have this business because you're gonna be making enough money where you're gonna have choices. And so you're gonna have time and you're gonna be able to go to your kids' baseball games, basketball games, all of that. So again, when you ask that question, you guys, what it does is it gives you information about that person. I knew nothing about Carolina before I just asked her that question. Now I know about her business. I didn't know anything about Raquel, about her life every day, day out, what her struggles are. But Carolina, she vented just now. Right? These are things on the back of her mind. She just got to vet and now she connected with me if I'm having this conversation because I'm gonna say, wow, man, Carolina, people that aren't in your business, they don't think about your daily struggles. Like everything that makes the world go round, like it's very, very cool to hear that about you. But I have information now that I can connect Carolina. And I'm gonna go on. Like if you had a magic wand, Carolina, the next question I might ask is if you had a magic wand what would you change that could take your business to the next level? And Carolina might say something like, well, if I had more money, I could have more inventory and then I could be able to help every single person, right? So if she said that, How could she get more money? Well, imagine if you were making 50, 60, $70,000 a month, a week in this business where you could buy more inventory for your business. You're making a lot of money here that you could reinvest back into your other business and blow that business up. And now you're one of the big dogs, right? So there's just a lot of solutions that this business provides that can help Carolina think differently about this business, where she's like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And then, listen, my upline's been in the business 3 years. He's making $60,000 a week. Like, and I would never tell Carolina, you could do this business and quit what you're doing because I'm a big believer in multiple streams of income. I'm going to tell Carolina, continue to do your business, but now you have money to reinvest in your business. I would tell Raquel, if she's working for someone on someone else's schedule, like, you have an experience, go start your own immigration company. You could go do that, and now you have two businesses, and you're not working for someone. You got two businesses that are paying you, right? So those are the conversations that, people might not have ever thought of. Like, that's what I've done in business. All my businesses that I have feed one another, and that's how they can grow so fast. So those are the conversations that I want you guys to get into. But if you just ask those simple questions, what do you do for a living? What do you love about it? Let people talk. Like, Carolina talked. I didn't cut her off because the more she talks, the more we connect. So get into that conversation. Now, listen, if it's someone that you know and you already know, you think you know what they're doing, you just rephrase the question and be like, "Hey, excuse me, are you still doing this?" Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you know somebody or you don't know somebody. When you talk to them, connect with their identity. "Hey, are you still working at the hospital?" "Oh yeah, man, you've been there for a while. You must really love that. What do you love about it?" And then they're going to be honest with you if they love it or they don't love it. Well, what would you change? And then I'm going to move on from there. Because what's going to happen when I pour into someone, the natural thing that they're going to do is ask me what I do, or what am I up to, or how am I making money? Every day, you guys, I do this. Yesterday, I haven't talked to a friend in 9 months. I called him up. The last time I talked to him, he was clean from drinking alcohol. He was an alcoholic, drinking a lot, ruining his life. I didn't call him about the patch. I just said, "Hey man, how you doing? You still clean? You still not drinking?" "Yeah, dude, 2 years, man. It's actually, I don't even celebrate my birthday anymore. I celebrate my sober date." I'm like, "That's awesome." He's like, "You wouldn't even recognize me. I lost 50 pounds. I'm working out 6 days a week." Like, I'm like, "Dude, I would love to see you, man. I'm so happy." Like, I told you, like, when he was going through his drink things, I said, "Listen, he's a really successful guy." I was like, "You could do anything you put your mind to. You could stop drinking." And he's like, "You know what? That's the reason I did, because you told me that I was possible." And then I just, "Hey, what are you up to? How are you making money these days?" He started telling me. Guess what the next question was? "How are you making money?" Bro, that stem cell thing seems awesome. I'm 49 years old and I'm going through this whole thing. I feel like I'm missing that. So the conversation just evolves, you guys. It is magic. I promise you. It's the way I get into every single conversation with new, old, existing friends. It doesn't matter. This is how I get into the conversation. And I ask them those questions. And then, it's a 5, 10 minute conversation, but it always ends up where I'm able to talk about what I'm doing and I show my excitement and my passion.
You didn't see my message
This,
to you. I sent you a
what's that?
message telling you.
Sorry? I think someone's on mute. Lola. I think I got it. Sorry about that, you guys. So that's how people will open up. I mean, you saw it, like, Carolina didn't know I was gonna answer that question. She opened right up to me, right? She started telling me what she thinks about and lives every single day in her mind. So it opens people up to have that conversation. And then they're going to turn around and you have to have your 30-second commercial ready, you guys. The reason I say a 30 second, it doesn't have to be 30 seconds. It could be 20 seconds. It could be 45 seconds. But every commercial on television is either 15 or 30 seconds. We wouldn't know that today because we just fast forward through all of them. But every commercial is about a 30-second commercial. And so when people ask me what I do, this is my 30-second commercial. It doesn't have to be yours, but you could tweak it. My 30-second commercial always is, man, I'm a serial entrepreneur. But the two things I'm excited about right now is this financial services agency I'm building and a stem cell business in the wellness space. And based on what they ask me on those two, I give people choices. I always give people choices, because I want them to ask me about one, because I'm going to talk about the other two. And how I do that is like, oh yeah, man, I've built this agency with 4,500 agents. It's a new concept that I created like a year and a half ago, and it's just going like crazy. I'm so excited about it. But what I'm most excited about is my stem cell business. And they're like, tell me about the stem cell business. And then I just ask, well, what do you know about stem cells? And I just reposition the question back to them because I want to know what they know about stem cells. And then they say to me, I don't really know that much about it. And I said, well, listen, I started on my stem cell journey when I read Life Force with Tony Robbins. I didn't know anything about stem cells, but after reading that book, I started researching all the pain that I had in my body and all the inflammation I had in my body. And I went down to Panama, I went to Mexico. And what I figured out through that process is that when you're born, between the age of born and 30, you lose over 50% of your stem cells. They go dormant in your body. Can you believe that? So like when we see these athletes get injured, when we see these athletes have to retire, it's because their bodies are breaking down and they can't recover. And then between 30 and 60, 95% of our stem cells are dormant in our body. Isn't that crazy? Stem cells' job is to keep inflammation. Stem cells' job is to keep you from aging. Stem cells' job is to keep pain. Stem cells' job is to keep disease out of your body. And being 52 years old now, I want to live healthy long. I don't want to be living long, not healthy. I want to be healthy long. And so I just decided to jump headfirst in this, and I found this device because when I was doing the research, you're putting someone else's stem cells in your body. They're $40,000 and they might not work. And then I ran into this device that just changed my life like nothing else has ever changed my life. My mental clarity, no pain in my body, no inflammation in my body. I feel better than I've ever felt in my entire life. And after that, people are automatically like, look, how do I get it? It's like, look at this thing. I don't have to take any medication. I don't have to swallow pills. I'm not putting any chemicals or stimulants into my body. I just put this on the back of my neck every single day for 12 hours, and it's changed me. They're like, how do I get it? Like, that's easy. It's so easy. You could buy it retail for $149 a month, but nobody does that because I can get it to you for wholesale for $99 a month. All you have to do is have an auto ship that you could cancel anytime, but you're not going to cancel it because you're going to want to wear it like me for the rest of your life. Or you could become an affiliate with the company like I am. And I've just made it my social responsibility because of what it's done for me and so many other people. And I share it and the company pays me. Which one sounds most appealing to you? Again, I'm giving people choices. If they want to be a customer, cool. I'm not going to push you into anything else. My main objective is to get people in my orbit. My orbit could be a customer, my orbit could be a brand partner. It doesn't matter. I'm going to upgrade you from a customer to a brand partner in 90 days because you're going to have a transformation. And then you're going to want to tell the world about it. If you're going to tell the world about it, you should get paid for it. So that's how I always get into the conversation and sign them up. Easy. And then I hand them patches. I always give them a sleeve of 10. I've showed you guys these before. This is an envelope that you can get 20 for $5. I put 10 in here. I patch them. I walk away. They have my link. I send them my I Decide video because it tells them everything that they need to know. It's very professionally done. It has my link in it. They're signing up on the spot. That's how we're signing up all these people, you guys. It's not rocket science. I promise you guys. It's not. What happens is human beings make things a lot more difficult than they are because of our minds. Our minds make it difficult. It's not difficult. This is very, very simple. Now, does it take practice? It takes practice. Now, some other questions that I'll ask people is, how's your energy level? Day to day. Man, I'm always crashing around 2 o'clock. You know, I stopped drinking coffee a year ago. I don't crash at 2 o'clock in the afternoon anymore. After wearing this patch, I never crash. Literally, if I sleep 4 hours, which is not good, I'm not saying to ever do that, but sometimes, business calls, I gotta get up in the morning, I gotta write, I'm working on a book right now. I get 4 hours of sleep. I feel great. I don't do that more than one day in a row, but this patch helps me get through that day. If somebody's drinking a energy drink, I cannot not say something. I'll go up to them. I'm like, why are you drinking that? Oh, bro, I'm tired. Like, have you ever looked at the ingredients in that? Turn around and tell me one or two or three ingredients that you might recognize in there. And they turn around, they're like water, caffeine. That's about it. I'm like, you're just pouring all that stuff into your body every single day. Don't do that because I have something that you can wear that you don't have to drink those energy drinks and it's not putting anything in your body. You're just using your own body's resources. What is that? You haven't heard of this? Dude, I thought everyone knew about this. I've seen so many people wearing this. You didn't know what this is? This is the healthiest way for you to recover and get energy and feel amazing. And they're just like, how do I get it? I look for people in pain. Most people are limping around. They get off a piece of equipment, tape on a cane, and I'll just ask them, like, where's your pain? And they're like, oh, my knee. I've had problems with my knees for a long time. You mind if I try something? And I'll use the ice wave. If you guys don't have the ice wave patch, you should have the ice wave patch because that will blow people's mind away when you patch people with ice wave. Because within 15 seconds, their pain's going to be gone, either at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or 9 o'clock. And then I patch the other side, opposite of the white patch with the X39, and they're done. They're like, I've had that pain for 5 years. I've never felt relief like this. And I'll talk about the stem cells. I'll talk about the ice wave patch. And again, you guys, on Monday nights, I'm reiterating this because you guys aren't always on our calls. You maybe have never been on that call, but I want to give you guys the information so that you get unstuck. I want to give you all the ways that you could talk to people in this business. Who are the people that you could talk to? And it's every single human being walking around because every single human being's stem cells are going dormant day by day. The other thing I do is I target people in direct sales every day, three people every day on social media. If you guys go to dsn.com, directselling.news.com, it'll give you a list of the 100 top companies. Go on Instagram, put that company name in a search bar, users, and people that are marketing those products will come up. And the way you approach these people is different than most people approach. Most people send a DM saying, hey, I've got an opportunity I'd love to talk to you about. And then they go into great detail and try to sell the person. And a person in direct sales, those are being sold. So what I do is I reach out to people and say, hey, I see that you're working with such and such company. I'd love to hear about that company. Can we set a time up to talk? If someone sends you a DM and says, hey, I see you're with LifeWave, and I've heard a lot of great things about that company. I'd love to talk about the opportunity. What's a good time for us to meet? You would immediately respond to that and be excited because it's a prospect. And so are they. And so I get into the conversation, I leave them with themselves. I ask them about their opportunity. I ask them about their comp plan. I ask them what they love about the company. I ask them what they change about the company. And then guess what? What are they going to ask me? Every single time. Well, what do you do? Well, actually, I'm in direct sales too. I work with LifeWave, an amazing company. But I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm looking for multiple streams of income, something that I can add that pairs up well with what I'm doing. So I'm looking for other opportunities that I can do that. And this just piqued my interest. I wanted to see maybe if I could add this in. Does your company allow you or someone else to work with another company? Some will say yes, some will say no. And if they say no, I'm like, what do you mean? They put handcuffs on you and you can't do anything else? That's crazy. My company doesn't care. As long as I'm not selling a patch, but guess what? I don't have a patch to sell any other company. They don't exist. We have a patent. We're not a Me Too product. And so now I've planted a seed with someone. Maybe they're happy, maybe they're not. But when something happens and they're not happy, guess what? I've been in DMs with them on Instagram and they can find me very easily. That's why I DM through Instagram. Because if in 3 months something goes awry, a company shuts down, something happens, they're going to reach out to me because I planted a seed. So people in direct sales are great because once you roll them up, they understand the industry. They know how to recruit people. They know how to run a business. What about friends and family? They're going to be your toughest because they know who you are, but they're the best to practice on. Some are going to trust you and some are going to sign up. Some are going to say, you know what? Let me just see how you do with this business. Classmates, people you worked with. Now, how do you reach out to people? You haven't talked to them in 3 or 4 years. Pocket dial them. Don't overcomplicate it. And then when they pick up, be like, oh, Tina. Oh, Tina. How have you been? Oh my God. I'm sorry, I called the wrong Tina. I was calling my other friend Tina. Well, I have you. What have you? What are you up to? What are you working these days? Oh, wow. How long you been there? No way. What do you love about it? What would you change about it? And then Tina's going to say, well, what are you up to these days? And then you get into your conversation, you guys. So don't overcomplicate it. Just call people and act like you didn't mean to call them. It works. I do it all the time. People love to hear from you. But if you call them up with the intent to sell them something and they feel that right away, hey, this is Suzanne, and I was just calling. Listen, I'm working with this patch right now, and it's changing people's lives, and it helps with stem cells and blah 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 blah. They're overwhelmed. But people are more apt to listen when you listen first because they're interested because you were interested. And that's what we have to show. We have to show true interest in people. And even with this, when I'm teaching you, like you authentically have to care, you guys. I'm not saying you can just go, yeah, 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 well, that's cool. Oh, and you're changing. If you're not listening authentically and you don't authentically care, this is not going to work. They have to feel that connection. All right. And the other thing you guys have to do is you guys have to patch people. There's a little bit of investment you have to make in this company, just like any business. Any business you have to invest in. Just like Carolina was saying, her biggest issue is having enough money to buy enough inventory. These patches aren't expensive. You don't have to have that much inventory, but you're going to have to invest in the business so that they can feel it, they can see it, they understand it. Because when you talk about a patch and you don't have any, you're selling snake oil. It doesn't make any sense. When you're willing to give people patches and they put them on, they're going to have an effect. So before I wrap this up, I just want to talk about handling the worst curse word on the planet, and that's no. Everyone hates that word no. And everyone hates to be ghosted. Sucks. It's a horrible feeling. But I want to tell you guys something to free you up. You're not broken. Your business is not broken. It's just your emotions are way, way too involved. My golf coach told me this. You're never going to be good if you are attached to the result of every single swing you take. Because even the pros miss 80% of their shots where they want to hit. They miss their target 80% of the time. Professionals, people that do it every single day for 50, 60,000 hours of their life, they miss 80% of their shots. So when it doesn't go right, it shuts us down. Our emotions take control. You guys are not here to convince people. You're here to sort people out, to see who's serious, who wants to be in the business, who's going to do well, who's not. You guys are not here to beg people. You're here to serve. If you take a serving mentality towards this business, you won't be stuck. When you're legitimately trying to help people, not make money, to help people with their wellness and their health and prevention, the whole game will change. So when someone says no, or someone ghosts you, or they give you that look like you crazy, what are you talking about, girl? Is this one of those freaking pyramid scheme things? Don't make it mean something about you because it doesn't. It's their stuff. It's what they're dealing with, not yours. So here's how I protect my mindset. Because listen, I get way more no's than you guys. I promise you. I would challenge anyone in here to see if they talk to more people than I do. And if you do, I would love to have a contest and let's see how many people we could talk to in a month. Every single day, I write down 3 wins. It doesn't matter how small they are. I write them down because I have gratitude for them. I visualize every day a different person a year from now thanking me for not giving up on them. I visualize that. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for kicking me in the butt. I remind myself every single day after a conversation that I'm not in the convincing business. I'm in the service business. That's the business of it. I'm here to serve. And it helps me stay grounded. All right? So that's what we have to do. That's how we have to visualize these things. And last but not least, what could I have done better that day to serve people? What could I have done better? I watched this video on Instagram and it talked about an 80-year-old woman woke up being 35 again. It was a really impactful video to me. And having time for your kids, and not saying, I got to go work or I got to go do this, but when they need you, you're there. Spending time with your parents, having gratitude for everything in life because you weren't grateful for anything. And by the time you're 80 years old, it's like too late to be grateful for those things and show that gratefulness to people. And that's what I want you to think about is every day that goes by, be grateful for the growth that you have every single day. And it will help you stay grounded because your mind is going to quit 1,000 times every single week. And your mind's going to quit before your heart does. But you got to get control of this thing. You got to get these two together. You got to get them synced. That's why this business isn't just about skill. It's not about skill, you guys. It's about strategy. And it's about strategy for your mind. Like you got to strategize against your mind. That's the game. Because the mind is always going to play tricks on you. Always. Your thoughts are going to become feelings. And your feelings are going to become actions. And those feelings are emotions. And those emotions are going to dictate and determine what actions you take. Based on what action you take, action, inaction, not a lot of action, your actions are going to become results. So if you're not getting the results, you need to go backwards. And you got to say, well, where are my feelings? And then you got to go back from feelings and be like, well, I'm having these feelings because I'm having these thoughts. And you got to control the thoughts. If you control the thoughts, the actions are going to be unbelievable. And your results are going to reinforce your thoughts. Because when you start getting results, that's when you start having a positive attitude. But sometimes results take a while. I started another business a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago. And my wife kept saying, well, when do you think it's going to take off? And I'm like, it's going to take some time. Like nothing takes off that fast. And now it's starting to freaking take off and it's starting to launch and it's starting to come to fruition. But I've been in a year and a half spending a lot of my time on it. But when you're in that year and a half, it's like, man, is this thing ever going to do anything? So you have to break the cycle that you're stuck or that this is not working by interrupting the input. And the input is typically from the subconscious of your mind telling you all these lies that aren't true. So how do you keep your mind sharp? I mean, ask yourself questions. Did I move today? Did I move the needle today? Did I move my business today? Did you feed your mind something positive today, or were they all negative thoughts? Did you start at least 3 new conversations about this today? Now, not about this, but about meeting people. What do you do? You guys could talk to 3 people every single day. You could ask 3 people what they do for a living every single day. You could call 3 contacts on your phone that you haven't talked to in 5 years by accident every single day. You could go out and talk to somebody in a restaurant. You go out and talk to somebody at the gas station, at Target. Doesn't matter. You could start a conversation in an Uber. And then reflect every day why you started doing this. What pulled you into this? What did you want to accomplish? Did you want more money? Did you want to help people? Did you want to start your own business? Because your business is going to start to grow to the level of your emotional fitness. What's your emotional fitness? You got to work on that every day. And here's the part that people miss. You're not behind. You're just on that compound curve. The compound effect is real. The more you do, the more you do, the more you do, then you're going to get results. I mean, think about a bamboo tree. A bamboo tree you could water for 4 years and nothing shows. And then suddenly, in fifth year, it shoots up 90 feet in 6 weeks. Nothing for 4 years, 90 feet in 6 weeks. And this is how it works in business. You show up every single day with no applause, nobody giving you a pat on the back, with no instant wins. And some people get instant wins and they think, I figured it out. And then they get punched in the face and they're like, oh, wait, I thought it was going to be different. Because the ones who break through in life and in business are, again, not the most talented, they're the most consistent. And consistency is your secret weapon. So let me land this plane for you guys tonight. To start off with, you're not stuck because you're not. And you've heard this before. You didn't come this far to just come this far. You come this far to go further and further. Like I've been working with Raquel for 5 years, and she is one of the most relentless, disciplined people. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that she is going to be one of the most successful people that I know. I know it. I know for a fact because I've seen her stick with it. This business can change your life, but only if you don't let temporary emotions create permanent decisions. Let me say that again. Only if you don't let temporary emotions, because they're temporary, create permanent decisions. Some of the people on here that are going to build the biggest team, you haven't met them yet. You haven't met that super person that's going to come in and blow your team up, or two or three or five people. Some of the best stories that you're going to tell in the future, you haven't lived it yet. So give it 3 to 4 years. Go all in. Work on your mind every single day. Show up when it's hard. And it's going to be hard most of the time. Follow up with people like a pro. Initiate conversations like your life depended on it. And I'm going to tell one more story about that. And then I'm going to say goodnight. I was at a conference and I was at a turning point in my life. And I was, just trying to like find myself. And this gentleman, and God sent this gentleman to me, and he got up and he said, you know, who in the room wants to be very successful? I raised my hand, and who in the room has a plan? And I raised my hand, and then he said, he pointed me out. He said, why do you think you're not as successful as you want to be? And I was like, oh, I'm just working on it. He's like, let me ask you a question. You have kids? And I said, yes, yes, sir. And he said, well, if your kids got kidnapped and they called you and they asked you, you can get your kids back if you can find me $100,000. And he was like, how fast do you think that you could find that $100,000? And I said, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. I would make a million calls. I would do whatever it took. I mean, I would mortgage I would do whatever it took. And he was like, when you start treating your business and your success that way, then you'll get the success that you want. So when you think about how much you love your kids and what you would do for them, you should do the same for yourself and your business if that's what you truly, truly want. And in that moment, I was just like, because the things that we really, really want in our life are willing to do whatever it takes. The things that we want to do that take time, we don't have time for a lot of things, but if we want to go get our hair done, get our nails done, get a massage, get a facial, get Botox, whatever it is, we will find time to make those things happen in our life. But we'll make excuses for, I don't have time to talk to 3 people a day. when talking to those three people every single day is what would truly change your life. And you could go do that whenever you want and not be on someone else's schedule. So you're not stuck, you guys. You're not. Y'all are just getting started, and we're all just getting started. So just keep that mentality right every single day. Use the tools that I gave you guys tonight. The biggest part of this business is just getting into the conversation and then becoming fluent in this business. And fluent is not a doctor, it's not a scientist, it's not talking. I didn't talk about anything tonight that has anything science related. I just talked about the fact of stem cells. I talked the fact of what our bodies do. I talked about the fact of aging. And everyone knows that. Everyone, even 25-year-olds, are awoke now when it comes to wellness and health and what we put into our bodies and what disease is doing and what medicine is doing and what government is doing. Everyone is very, very, very much awake in this space. So this is the time, you guys. Don't give up. Just step in and do everything that it takes to transform lives. Thank you guys so much. I'm not sure if any of you guys are going to be in Orlando. I'll be in Orlando starting on Friday. So if you're there, please come up and say hello. Let's have a conversation. I'll be there with my wife. I'd love to see any of you that are going there. If not, I hope you guys will go to Anaheim, California for the big corporate event. I will tell you last year when I went to the event, um, it was very eye-opening to me about how big this company is and how amazing this company is, and getting to, hear David speak, hear Meredith speak. Also, Elton John's performing this year, which is pretty cool since he retired. And then I've heard we have a really big speaker that's going to be there that everyone knows as well. So I would love to see you guys there. It's going to give me an opportunity to meet with you guys in person. The tickets are still available, so I would love to meet all of you there. And next week, come ready to role play, kind of like what Caroline and Raquel did today. But I want to hear your 30-second commercial. I want to hear how you get into the conversation so that we could practice that next week. And please don't be afraid. Listen, no one's going to judge you here. This is a safe zone for everyone on here. We're all growing together. So the more engagement I get on these calls with you guys, the better everyone is going to learn and hear how things are going. So thank you guys so much for your time, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Have a good night.